combined team of British and American astronauts is heading toward Halley's Comet to inspect it, traveling in the space shuttle. As they approach the comet, the radar picks up an unknown object flying alongside it. The object appears to be 150 miles in length, 2 miles in height, and strangely not made of any known metal. Captain Tom Carlson tells the crew to relay the information to Mission Control on Earth, but their radio is down due to their proximity to the comet. Carlson announces he and a team of astronauts will venture out to investigate the object. They spacewalk toward the massive structure, finding an entrance. One astronaut remarks the interior resembles a giant artery. Carlson, strangely unsettled, confesses the place feels familiar to him. As they venture deeper inside, they encounter its occupants, hundreds of bat-like creatures that seem lifeless. After a moment of awe, the crew decides to take one of the creatures back to the ship for study. Just then, the gigantic object begins to open up, like an umbrella, revealing a path illuminated by an eerie light. Carlson insists they must follow it and investigate further. Guided by the glowing path, they arrive at a room filled with crystalline casings. 3 casings in the center contain what seem to be perfectly preserved human bodies, 2 males and 1 stunningly beautiful female. The sight of the woman disturbs Carlson's mind, and when another astronaut joins him, the same unsettling sensation takes hold. They decide to bring all 3 bodies, along with the bat-like creature, back to Churchill. 30 days later, Mission Control reports that the space shuttle has lost contact and is drifting toward Earth. A second mission is dispatched to investigate. Upon docking with the space shuttle, the rescue team finds the spacecraft scarred by fire. The entire crew appears to have burned to death, but the 3 bodies in the crystalline casings remain untouched. The rescue team retrieves the bodies and brings them to Earth for further examination. At a government facility, scientists discuss the strange bodies and the casings. Dr. Leonard Bukowski notes the casings are neither crystal, metal, nor organic. Somehow, they seem both physically present and not present at the same time. When asked about performing an autopsy, biochemist Dr. Fallada declares he cannot confirm the bodies are dead. Alien physiology may not align with human concepts of life and death. Bukowski watches from the control room as the woman's body lies in the operating theater. After the doctors leave, a guard stationed nearby is inexplicably drawn to her. He enters the room, and just as he is about to touch her, the woman's eyes snap open. She sits up bearing her alien form. The guard is paralyzed by her beauty as she pulls him into a kiss. Bukowski rushes toward the operating room as a strange electrical phenomenon engulfs the two. Blue light swirls around them, and it becomes clear the guard is in distress. When Bukowski arrives, he finds the guard's body desiccated and lifeless, a rotting husk. The woman, undeterred, steps toward Bukowski, urging him to kiss her. Dr. Fallada arrives just in time to witness the event through the cameras. The building's security team is alerted, but when they attempt to apprehend the woman, she unleashes supernatural powers, rendering them helpless. She shatters the windows and escapes into the night. Colonel Kane of the Special Air Service is assigned to the case. He interviews Bukowski and Fallada, who explain everything, including that the space shuttle's escape pod is missing. Bukowski admits the woman's allure is nearly impossible to resist. Her presence exerts a kind of mind control. Fallada confides that although he is a biochemist, his true passion is the study of death. When Kane asks if there is life after death, Fallada responds yes. The life force persists, even after death. Kane realizes this might explain what happened to the guard. His life force was entirely drained. Bukowski, partially drained, barely survived. Kane observes this makes the woman a kind of vampire. Meanwhile, guards stationed with the 2 male bodies are startled by a sudden explosion. The men awaken. Gunfire has no effect, so the soldiers resort to grenades, blowing the bodies apart. Later, as doctors prepare to autopsy the guard's body, it stirs to life. One of the doctors leans in, only to have his life force drained. The guard returns to normal, while the doctor collapses into a decayed heap. Fallada orders the guard placed in isolation, theorizing the victims revive 2 hours after being attacked, a cycle that may repeat indefinitely. When another victim is discovered in a nearby park, Fallada's prediction proves true. The infected body reverts to decay after 2 hours without fresh life force. Checking the corpses, Fallada finds their internal organs have disintegrated into dust. Home Secretary Percy Heseltine asks how the vampires came to Earth. At that moment, Bukowski announces the space shuttle's escape pod has landed in Texas with Carlson inside. Carlson is brought to London Space Research Center SRC to debrief Bukowski, Kane, and Fallada. He recounts how, after bringing the bodies and the bat creature aboard, the crew began to feel fatigued and died one by one. Their bodies decayed rapidly, leaving Carlson the sole survivor. Knowing the threat posed by the alien bodies, Carlson set the ship on fire and escaped in the pod. Carlson admits that, despite knowing the woman was responsible, abandoning her was the hardest thing he ever did. He felt an inexplicable connection to her. Bukowski informs Kane that the alien object near the comet is now heading toward Earth. Carlson has a dream where the vampire woman visits him. They make love, exchanging life force in a way that feels mutual. He awakens in terror, believing he shares a psychic bond with her. Bellotta hypnotizes Carlson, guiding him to explore his connection with the woman. Carlson learns she can transfer between bodies. Currently, she occupies the body of a nurse named Ellen. Carlson also discerns Ellen's location and informs Kane. At a mental hospital, they confront Ellen, only to find the vampire has already left her body. Using the mental connection, Carlson identifies her new host, Dr. Armstrong, the hospital director. They sedate Armstrong, believing they've trapped the vampire within him. Carlson interrogates Armstrong, who reveals the vampire took the form of Carlson's ideal woman, which was drawn from his mind. She professes love for him and commands him to embrace her. Despite his resistance, Carlson kisses her, triggering an explosive exchange of life force. Kane sedates Armstrong again, ending the encounter. Suddenly, they realize the infection has spread. London is now overrun with chaos, and martial law is declared. Kane and Carlson head to a military base, learning the alien ship is in orbit over the city, collecting the life force from the chaos below. Carlson, compelled by the vampire's call, steals a vehicle and drives to a cathedral where she awaits him. Kane, armed with Bellotta's sword, follows. Along the way, he encounters one of the male vampires, stabbing it with the sword. The creature reverts to its bat-like form before disintegrating. Inside the cathedral, Carlson passionately embraces the vampire woman. He reveals he has always been one of them, connected in ways beyond human understanding. Carlson, overwhelmed, drops the sword into Kane's hand. With a final act of defiance, Carlson impales both himself and the vampire woman on the sword. Their bodies dissolve into light, rising toward the alien ship. The vessel halts its assault on Earth and drifts back toward Halley's comet. Kane, standing alone beneath the sky, watches as the ship disappears into the cosmos. Carlson's sacrifice having saved the world.